Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Malamed, Shlita. Well, we're continuing as we're getting closer to Chag HaPurim. This year, an unusual schedule is Purim falling after Shabbos. Again, please keep davening for Charlei Tzvagan Yisrael, L'Refuah Shalema L'Chol Am Yisrael that need a safe return of our hostages. And please, as we dedicate our learning, Le'ilu Nishmas, Seren of Daniel, Shimon ben Harav, Doron Visheli, Hashem Yakum Damo, Captain Daniel Perez, just informed of his unfortunate murder on October 7th. Family sitting Shiva at the moment, so please take upon yourselves an extra piece of learning in his memory and in his merit. Next chapter, Pekuda Keneged Mitzvah HaTorah. Yesh Tzamchus L'Tzahal Mifakdav, Hapalim Mikoch Nivcharei HaTzibur, L'Gayis Anashim, So the Israeli army, Israeli Defense Forces, and its commanders, of course, as civil servants, so they have a responsibility to organize an army, to have people that draft into the army, and they are there to protect the Jewish people and the land of Israel. And as we know, and as we're living through right now, we're experiencing it, that there are times when we have to go into a defensive operation, a war of defense, after we've been attacked. And the soldiers, they are in close battle, even when it causes, of course, tremendous danger to their lives. And as we have seen, so many lives lost in this war. L'shem irgun hatzva v'hachanoso l'krav, mamein hatzva asechayalim. So throughout training, not only in war, but the whole ethos of being in the army is preparing for battle and to strengthen and to give the ability for the soldiers to fight with confidence and to understand their mission and to be ready for battle. But what happens if a soldier gets a command that contradicts halacha? He's not allowed to fulfill it. Even in a time when there was a king in Israel, that was chosen by a prophet, by the high court, if a king gave a commandment to go against one of the mitzvahs in the Torah, you don't have to listen to the king. In fact, you're forbidden to. And the Rambam paskins in Hilchos Malachim, Perek Gimel Halacha Tes, Hamivatel Gzeres HaMelech B'Shvil Shenisasek B'Mitzvos, Afil B'Mitzvah Kala Harei Ze Patur. If a person doesn't want to listen, ignores the decree of a king, so that he can perform mitzvos, even a small mitzvah, he's exempt. Divrei Harav, V'divrei ha'eved, the words of the master and the words of the servant. Here, the master being Hashem and the servant being the king. Divrei harav kohen, of course, we listen to the ultimate master, not the king. We listen to the real king, which is Hashem. That's certainly if the king decrees to not listen to a mitzvah, certainly we don't listen. L'mashal. So let's give an example. Bis Shabbos. Now, we know when it comes to Shabbos and the army that there's many, many questions that come up. There have been many Sfarim. I have a number of Sfarim that really address this issue. But if the commander gives the command, you have to go out on patrol on Shabbos. But that's to keep the camp safe, to keep the nation safe, because that's Pekuach Nefesh. So then certainly you have to go. But if he gave a commandment, he says, listen, I want you to go drive to the Makola to get soda, let's just say Lamashal, then that's obviously not Pekuach Nefesh and one is not allowed to go. L'iti mesh l'chayal safek, ulai yesh tzad shel Pekuach Nefesh bekudav ulai ein. Sometimes the soldier has doubt. He's not sure. Maybe it's Pekuach Nefesh, maybe it's not. B'matzav kazeh yesh l'kaymas ha'pekudah, meshagam safek Pekuach Nefesh doch Shabbos. If he's not sure, he should fulfill the commandment, he should follow the orders, because even in a suffix, in a doubtful case of Pekuach Nefesh, we're careful and we're going to do that just to prevent possible loss of life. Ulam achar hashabas yivduk ha'chayalas ha'pekudah, v'yisbarelo ki ha'pekudah nit nishol tzar Pekuach Nefesh, olav lehislonen al mafaked b'chol hadrachim avsharios, After Shabbos, one should then try and verify if this was indeed pikuach nefesh, or even a possibility of pikuach nefesh, and if it turns out that it was not, he has to follow every avenue and every channel possible to file a complaint against the commander so that this shouldn't happen again in the future. There was an episode where a group of soldiers, they received an order to travel on Shabbos to clear out. Let's say we have these case of like the Hilltop Youth, where Jews took hold of a certain piece of land, and they did so unlawfully, and they were asked to travel on Shabbos to go remove them. And since this was not pikuach nefesh, it was just a command from the army to remove somebody from a post that they had established, which was unlawful, so then they were not allowed to travel on Shabbos for this. And you also can't be stupid, or you can't be afraid, because and if it's certain that there is no pikuach nefesh involved, then you have to reject the order. You have to fight against the command, and you can't start rationalizing and saying, oh, maybe there is pikuach nefesh, not. You have to be strong, and you can't be afraid. So one time a platoon, they had an exercise that was supposed to start before daybreak and was supposed to go until midday. And in the middle of the exercise, there was a long break. The commander, he prohibited the chayalim during that break, because they started before daybreak, and now it's the morning time, and they have a long interlude, so to speak. So the mifaked, the commander, did not let the chayalim daven shachris. Because his commanding officer, he said that you have to be ready at any second he might come and check on the exercise. And as soon as he arrives, then we have to continue the exercise. So we don't have the luxury of taking this type of break. And the soldiers knew that once the second part of this exercise begins, it's going to go already past midday. They saw already that it's been a half an hour since they've done anything. So they stood up and they davened shachris. And this, actually, they behaved properly. Because davening at that moment was more important than the possibility of continuing the exercise, which wasn't happening. And if it was possible that the superior commanding officer would be able to wait not a very long time, he could have given them time to daven shachris, because his honor is not more important than the honor one has to give to Shemayim. In the notes here, he has many, many different cases here. He quotes from Rav Goren, who wrote extensively on military behavior, specifically religious military behavior. And these are issues that come up fairly common basis for religious soldiers, and hopefully find a way around that. But in any event, these are real-time decisions that have to be made. Right now we're in Shas Milchama, so many of these questions don't apply. And the soldiers, for instance, if they are lucky to be able to put on their tefillin at a certain part of the day, it's a tremendous bracha, so we certainly shouldn't take that for granted. But in any event, please continue davening for the brave soldiers of the IDF, for Shalem L'Chol Am Yisrael, freeing of all of our hostages, and an end to this general nightmare. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you here next time. Have a great day.